definitivamente han habido juegos que yo digo, esto es una mierda. Mecha Break es un free to play que yo pensé que no iba a jugar, que no me iba a gustar, hasta que empecé a jugarlo. Vamos a ver el review, a ver si en verdad, qué opina este corillo de IGN sobre Mecha Break. Yo me lo estoy empezando a disfrutar. Después de haber visto Evangelion. Perdón, después de haber visto Evangelion. Code Geass. ¿Qué más podemos mencionar por ahí? ¿Cómo se llama este otro?
When things come together just the way you need them to, man, it's something special. This is the type of game that has you shouting, did you see that shot mid-match, planning a strategy pre-game, and gassing up your friends when they win MVP, where you're celebrating your wins and trying to figure out your losses. It pulls you in, and there's a reason for that. It's really dang good.
Yo voy a ser bien honesto. Yo ando más en el PvE, en el Extraction, buscando mods, tratando de ponerme cangri para después seguir viendo qué hay por ahí, pero me encantaría que hubiera más PvE. PvE, eso de, o sea, más PvE. Character creation está nice. Claro, ese hombre pasó el character creation por encima, así como si no hubiera character creation pagada.
Do things like see your legally distinct Gundam called Break Striker up close, or watch your character take a steamy shower for some reason if you're into that. But I'm here for the violence, so I spent most of my time in the 3 modes Mecha Break has for you to get your mech killing on in. The weakest of the 3, Operation Storm, is an extraction shooter. You or a 3-man mech team drop into a map called Mashmak with one goal. Take everything you can and get out of there while the getting's good. That generally means killing computer-controlled enemies and opening chests scattered across the map.
Eso es lo que yo vengo para los
Standard
PvE.
extraction shooter stuff.
Tiene un poco de
PvP
cuando hace los extraction y demás, pero that's nice.
And of course there are other players and teams looking to take you out and steal your things. The mode is fine. Mashmak is huge, so traveling across it takes a while in most Break Strikers, and fighting the initial CPU enemies is dull. Unless you're willing to stay a while so the challenging stuff shows up, or go looking for a scrap with other mechs you're hoping to turn into scrap metal, it just isn't all that interesting. Yeah, it's neat that you can call in supply.
No veo que tú vas a hacer el review con el mecha, ¿sabes? ¿Cómo es que se llama? Aquí es que se llama el primero, con el primer mecha que te dan. ¿Sabe?
Supplies and find new weapons, but your starting kits are already pretty strong. New stuff helps, but the central appeal of an extraction shooter is that you can both get stuff and lose it. And since you can't really lose any of your core strikers, I don't know if this idea works here, because your base build is never going to be bad. That means the overall risk is pretty low, so I had a hard time getting invested. The 6v6 mode, called Operation Verge, on the other hand, is where I spent the majority of my time. Once you squad up, you choose from one of the 15 different mechs available. Only 3
Es que tú puedes usar allá también los mechs que hay available en el otro, en el Extraction.
Mecha Break has every kind of mech you could want. Heavies like the Stego, with the ability to plant itself on the ground and launch a massive missile
Vamos pronto a probar el Healer,
Falcon, which transforms into a plane, Starscream
nice
style.
Hay otro que se transforma en plane también, además de Falcon.
The all-powerful in the right hands Aquila, whose sniper rifle and ability to hover above the fray make it a must for most maps. And my personal favorite, the Elysinus, a medium-weight, more traditional mech that becomes smaller and more agile after its armor is blown off. Survive long enough in this form, and you can reapply your armor like some kind of mech-flavored magical girl. There are support mechs for healing and shielding your friends, melee mechs for getting up close and personal, and so on. Picking the right one is important because once you're locked in and the match starts, you're stuck with it. There's also no customization options beyond cosmetic stuff in Operation Verge. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves victorious, and then you're on to the next one. That's how it should be. Everything in Mecha Break feels amazing too, whether you're flying a Falcon or
Gracias, yo no voy a mentir. El juego se siente nice. ¿Sabes? Se siente nice los controles, el combate, el aiming, cuando dispara. Se siente bien el juego, no voy a mentir. Se siente bien.
And the fights were all exciting, whether I won or lost.
Y hace poco salió el otro, el de Mecha también, que se me olvida el nombre.
The other cool
Armored
thing
Core.
Mecha Break does is marry its maps to how you'll play
Y
them. The multi-level
yo pensé, no, se va a
industrial
sentir
Grace
tan bien.
Sky
Se siente
City
bien.
only offers traditional deathmatch. First to 8
Se
kills
siente bien.
wins, best 2 out of 3. As does the Babylon Sky
Deathmatch.
Fortress. The waterlogged Poseidon Armory sports a King of the Hill-esque data retrieval mode, where you have to capture and hold points to win, as does my beloved Crab Sinkhole.
Uf, ahí es por un healer,
Vigil
ahí es por un
Embryon ask
healer.
you to capture launch
¿Por qué no?
keys and upload them to a nearby
By the way, yo no he jugado todos los mods que hay al momento, porque literalmente estoy tratando de conseguir un par de mods, subir, o sea, hacer combinaciones, tener yo diría que al Mecha Ready, para irme a explorar un poquito más, para que no me den tanto leñón.
While
Real.
on Satellite Site and Palm Bay Harbor, queue up good old-fashioned payload escorts. The maps themselves are a smorgasbord of interesting locations, too. Stella Observatory Island is a combination mountain range with a valley and a destroyed city. I could set up
Las
and snipe
tormentas
it
random
much from the
también
high
están,
ground
se ven
with the
nice.
Stego,
El visual
but
se ve
to get
nice.
the
By the way,
objectives and stay in the fights over
esta
them,
gente subió
I
esto en
needed to head
HD
down where I was more vulnerable.
y no
Meanwhile,
honra el
Vigil
visual
Emblem is
del
set on a
juego.
cratered covered
Se ve
moon
bien.
that includes both open skies and small canyons just big enough to squeeze through, ideal for dodging enemy fire or moving around out of sight. The Aquila is an absolute monster here, but a well-piloted Falcon or
Este
Panther
no
can
sabe
straight
volar
up
con
roll the other
Falcon.
team if you're not careful.
Mira para
By
allá,
far my
mira
favorite
para
map in
allá.
Operation Verge is crowd.
Yo le puse los cachos y todo. Este bebo no sabe volar con Falcon. Vamos para atrás a ver cómo él...
The Aquila is
Luego,
an
tú no jugaste
absolute
Ace Combat.
monster here, but a well-piloted Falcon or Panther can straight up roll the other team if you're not careful. By far my favorite map in Operation Verge is Crab Sinkhole, a King of the Hill style map
Okay.
with 3 points, all placed in very different areas. Any team composition can work well here if you play it right, and I've had fun and been able to make plays on it no matter what I was piloting. I don't think there are any bad maps in Mecha Break, but my least favorite maps are built on Team Deathmatch, which I never thought I'd say. Dealing with objectives means more
Deberías
focus,
intentar el Team
team
Deathmatch,
comms,
pero creo con
communication,
healer.
and clutch plays. You've got to work together, and that's where the good stuff lives. My squad's pre-match discussions were about what mechs we should have, who should play them, and what our strategy should be. In-game teamwork is just as crucial. We were calling out targets, coordinating who was going where, and pinging each other for help. That's the best way to play Mecha Break, and it's led my team to a 70% win rate. Are certain mechs stronger than others? Yeah, Aquila, Welkin, Narukami, and the unlockable melee and stealth-focused Stellaris can all run you over if you let them. But if you coordinate properly, they'll die real fast. I spent a lot of time...
Yo no voy a mentir. El juego es entretenido. Una vez tú entras, es súper entretenido.
I'm
¿Sabes?
talking about Operation Verge. Mecha
Los
Break's
diferentes
best
mecha, la
mode, but Ace Arena,
customización.
3v3
Si te gustan
mode,
los
is also
mecha,
pretty
by the
slick.
way,
There
te
are
va a
only 4
encantar.
maps, one of which
No es
has
que no
a
te va a
cool
gustar, es que
environmental
está
hazard in the
exagerado. Y
form
by the
of
way, free to
test-fire
play.
rocket engines that you don't want to
¿Por qué
stand
no lo vamos a
behind, but
jugar?
It's a good time, and I appreciate that you can switch mechs when you die.
By the way, voy a
something you
chequear
can't do in
Palia
Operation
también por
Verge.
ahí.
When I took part of my Operation Verge team into Ace Arena for the first time, we smoked the other team 8-0, so, you know, transferable skills.
Qué bien se siente cuando
Mecha
tú
Break
abusas de
also
un
has a
equipo
training mode,
que no sabe jugar, que
practicing
juega
against
peor que tú.
enemies, tutorials and challenges for each of the 15 mechs, and custom rooms if you just want to play with friends and not venture into casual or matchmaking. Okay, now for the boring stuff. There is a real money auction house you can sell things in, whether it's a character customization item, paint, or stuff to equip your mech with in Mashmak. Most prices are pretty reasonable, but the rare stuff is very expensive. I mostly don't care about this because I generally don't care about cosmetics, and I'm not interested in playing any more Operation Storm. It does make the extraction mode somewhat pay to win, but the competitive integrity of Ace Arena and Operation Verge is fully intact. And there's plenty of stuff you can only unlock with in-game currency, which is handed out fairly generously if you just play and do missions, which are basic things like do X things Y times with Z Striker.
La realidad...
You'll also earn it through various progression systems like the Rally Order.
El juego no es full pay to win, pero sí pay to advance, como dice. Tiene un formato pay to win, como quieras, ¿sabes? Puedes comprar cosas, puedes tener ventajas sobre otros, pero también es como si fuera un Warframe. Puedes conseguir hasta el momento los modcitos in-game. No es que no puedes conseguir... Hay unas cosas que están in-game, por lo que yo he visto. y otras que no están in-game en cuestión de los mods, sino que cosméticos. Está bien, todo el mundo juega Fortnite y compra cosméticos. O sea, la real. Para mí es bien difícil entender por qué decimos meter tanta microtransacción dentro de los juegos. Cuando antes tú grindeabas todo y estaba dentro de los juegos, pagabas un precio y ya mucho más cómodo. Pero la real es que las microtransacciones hacen que la gente siga gastando. Es como un casino, un vicio. Y es bien difícil encontrar un juego hoy en día que no tenga Battle Pass, que no tenga microtransacciones, o que de momento salió un juego single player, pero vamos a tener un shop también que le vamos a vender otras cosas adicionales. Y es como que, diablo, pero en serio. Pero esta es la cultura que estamos viendo del gaming, que para mí es bien al garete, pero mucha gente la adoptó. Y pues, aquí estamos.
Which you get by teaming up with friends and completing challenges, or stuff like Christian's Challenge, which puts you in a scoring race against a story character. All of this stuff is free, and of course there are login bonuses, match
Normal,
bonuses,
eso ahora
and so on.
también, si no te lo
If there's a real
veas.
issue with Mecha Break's monetization, it's the stuff that the developer Amazing Seasun Games is selling directly. Paying $22 for one of the locked mechs and a ton of in-game currency bonuses is whatever if you don't want to take the time to unlock it yourself. What's wild are the prices on the cosmetic Ace pilot. You can recruit Falcon pilot Leone Ferve, her custom Falcon,
¿Qué?
and 3
Espérate. Tú me estás diciendo que esto es un cosmético nada más. Esto no, ¿sabes? Esto no es un mecha ni nada. ¿Cuánto? Exclusive boarding animation, execution effect, MVP animation. El personaje y un par de cositas aquí. Claro, 48 pesos. Esto es lo que pasa. Hemos decidido meter microtransacciones. No estoy diciendo que el juego es full pay to win. Pero, wow. El abuso. Esto es un abuso. ¿Sabes? Un abuso. Un skin. Con un par de cosas. Algo que tú podías grindear en un juego antes. 48 más impuestos. Bueno, esto es lo que estamos viviendo ahora. Así es esto.
character specific boarding, execution,
¿Qué
and
lo que
MVP
era?
animations for the low price of $47.99, which is frankly
No todos somos
outrageous.
millonarios.
Listen,
La real,
I get
diablo.
it. Mecha Break is a really
Esto-
gorgeous
eso es too
video
much.
game. Everyone's hot.
Acepto
and
un
anime
20,
waifu
pero un
stonks are through the roof.
48.90.
But nearly $50 for 3 animations, a character model, and a custom mech design is nasty work. Mecha Break does give you a decent amount
And
of
nasty.
stuff for in-game currency, and frankly, I'm not sure that I care about monetization in a game like this anyway. If you really want to go crazy customizing your character or buy that shiny new pilot and her mech, you'll have to pony up. Otherwise, you can unlock paints and patterns for your mechs for free at a reasonable pace. And let's face it, unless you're somebody who is playing the shower sequence on repeat, that's probably what you're going to spend most of your time looking at
¿Qué
anyway.
hace?
I'm
¿Qué
here for the
hace?
gameplay, and those extras don't drag down how much that part rules.
Este juego, te soy bien honesto. Deja que él termine.
Mecha Break's strategic, twitchy gameplay has its hooks in me. The 15 flavors of mechs all feel great to pilot, and I dig the maps in Operation Verge and Ace Arena. I'm not over the moon about Operation Storm, and I think the monetization is simultaneously fine in some places and potentially predatory in others. But I'm here for the 6v6 and 3v3 modes. That stuff is for PvP sickos. I've come away liking the little moments, the
Acho, que en verdad
stories my group is
esto es
not part of.
adictivo.
If
Este
Mecha
juego
Break
es
plays
como,
it smart, I think
¿sabe?
it has the juice to last for a long haul.
La gente
And I
que le
know
gusta
my
los
crew
mecha y
will be
necesita
hitting
un
me up
juego
for
online,
matches for
aquí
the
está.
foreseeable future. We're still chasing those moments of perfection, those stories. Sometimes we'll get there, sometimes we won't. But the perfect match is out
Un 8.
there, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to try to find it. The perfect match is
Voy a ser bien honesto. Yo llevo ya como... No llevo tanto. Pero tengo que tener como unas 30, 40 horas ya en Mecha. Fácil. Y... Asumo. Y no les voy a mentir. El juego no es free to play. Pero no, perdón, no es un pay to win. Pero lo que pasa es que este juego en verdad hace cocote. Es que, veo, ya que es free to play, ponle un Battle Pass. este juego de Mecha. Y en verdad, ni se escogote. Lo que pasa es que si no hay monetización, ¿cómo tú mantienes un juego live service? ¿Me entiendes? Porque no creo que todo el mundo esté dispuesto a pagar $48.99 por un personaje. Cada vez que tú tires un personaje, $48.99 es una loquera. ¿Entiendes? Es una loquera. Pero este juego, meten un Battle Pass y ya. Y lo arregla. Y en vez de estar viendo a ver si la gente te compra algo, le pones un montón de skin a la gente. Por lo menos ponle 5 skins. Un Battle Pass de $10 y van a ser más chavos, créanme. Bueno, está bien. No era para darle consejos de marketing. By the way, el juego, no les voy a mentir. Empecé jugándolo y yo como que esto es un mid-game. Y de momento, vamos a tirar otro match que me quedé mordido. Quiero buscar esto ahora. Quiero grindear. Si te gustan los mechs, si te gusta grindear, llégale. Es gratis. Disfrútalo. ¿Por qué no? Vamos a ver qué más podemos jugar este año. By the way, creo que voy a tener que ir a chequear Paria. Hay un par de gente ya que me han dicho que está bueno. Es un free to play. Y dicen que no es pay to win, que se vacila. Creo que debo ir a probarlo. Corillo, no olviden que me pueden seguir Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, X, para que vean todo y vacilen con nosotros. Los veo.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.